Howard. Dear Imam, a very simple question here is we've talked about this being a problem, global problem, 20 million in America and growing. What are some of the causes for Muslims leaving Islam? See, we can talk about the world till the cows come home, but the real problem is within ourselves in our ummah. Why are our Muslims who are followers of the Quran, believers in Allah and our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why are they leaving Islam? Dear Imam, if you can enlighten us, inshallah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum assalam.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. First of all, am I clear? Okay, good, mashallah. All right, so mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the best reward for all the panelists for sharing their thoughts and raising this awareness. Now, the question which I'm given, and I have my stopwatch in front of me, inshallah. Okay, so that why are some of the reasons Muslims leave Islam? Now, all of this which had been discussed so far, we look at it as patching the holes. Means I'll give you a very simple, practical example. If there is a hole in a tire of a vehicle, and you try to put air in it without plugging that hole, it will not stay inside the tire. Simple as that, right? So these are the remedies when we are trying to plug the holes. But why did this hole happen? We need to make sure that we plug that hole first and understand. And mashallah, big scholars are here. I'm going to share some personal experience with you and what I felt. I am a teacher also, and I deal with kids of all ages, including teenagers, every single day. And we have discussion, we have halaqat, which are discussion-based, not speech-based. In speech-based halaqas, one person speaks, everybody listens. In discussion-based halaqas, everybody speaks. So what is the benefit of this? That when they speak, you understand what their real problems are. And I came up with these three things. If these three holes are plugged, inshallah, there will be no room for other or false information to enter into the hearts of the Muslims. Like, for example, if this bottle is filled, there is no more room to put any other thing in it. If this is emptied, then I'll be able to put something in it. So what emptied Muslims' heart and gave room for other and wrong information to come inside? The first thing that is that it's a common ideology. Most of us, we don't say it, but we do think about it, that Quran is not relevant today. And in back of our head, sometimes we think about it, because the people who talk about Quran, they talk like they're like 500 years ago, people from 500 years ago. And because nobody else talks like this. My friends, my professors, my teachers, and my colleagues at colleagues at my work, nobody talks like them. But the people who talk about Quran, they talk about something which is like for the old age, not for today. And mostly, I'm pretty sure you have also heard, most of the lectures we hear, the comparison which is given, that the old times, how good the old times were and how bad these times are, right? So I tell myself sometimes, if I was not the person or a student of knowledge and I didn't have the company of the knowledgeable people, I wouldn't understand by listening at a person, an ordinary person would listen to it and say that, oh, so I'm living in bad times now, so the times are bad now, so what's the point? So whatever is in the Quran that was relevant to 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, now it has nothing to do with me. But there are the reasons behind why this happens. And the second reason, I don't want to take much of a time because each subject of this, each of these things, we can actually speak for more than an hour, and still we wouldn't be able to complete actually the whole concept. It's a huge concept. Second thing, the second hole we need to plug is that Quran, or in general, the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deen of Islam, is harsh. And that is also untrue, right? So when I think that this deen is harsh, and there are some commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very strict. You have to be this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And while staying normal human being, you cannot practice that. If you have to practice it, you have to be someone extremism. You have to be like an extreme side in order to practice this deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what is in the minds. That is why, that it happens that the deen which is easy for a person takes it, and deen which is difficult for a person leaves it. So this ideology is developed that this is very strict, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it strict. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this book, the Quran, down for mercy, because Allah says himself in the Quran, Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran. Rahman is the one who is teaching the Quran. So when it is presented without mercy, Quran has been presented throughout the world, but is it presented in a way that our youth, especially our Muslim youth, they take it? Or rather than a person, when they see the person with the beard, they say, oh my God, now, this person will come and talk to me, and he would ask me, why are you wearing this dress? Or why your face looks like this? And where is your topi? Or what you were listening on your phone, stuff like that. So these things, and who is doing this? The person who is supposedly religious. So this comes in the mind that this book is harsh, this deen is harsh, and the people who are connected with this deen, they are also harsh, even though it's completely opposite. In reality, this is completely opposite. And the third thing, and the third hole we would like to plug in our tire, that is that when I speak to kids, I figured that they are, or actually most of us, we are only told to be a Muslim. We are never told why should I be a Muslim? There's a difference, right? And if someone goes to Sheikh, for example, and asks, Sheikh, there are so many religions in this world. How do we know that this is the right religion, right? So rather than answering this question, most of the time answer is, astaghfirullah. Son, you need to go make 2 rakah because your shaitan has waswasa upon you, And once you finish with your 2 rakah, come back to me, I have to do ruqya on you. So when all of this is done, my question is still there, right? Other than that, everything else actually is in the Quran. It's completely untrue, but we don't answer it. I should not say misrepresent, I should say underrepresent the Quran, right? Just last thing, then I will conclude with this, and I have an announcement after that, that Islam is the only religion in the world which actually claims Hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqeen. Bring questions, bring criticism. فأتوا سورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله. Bring one surah like the surah of the Quran, right? Which religion? I thought this book, this Quran, is supposed to tell you just believe. If you don't believe, you go to Jahannam. No, actually, Quran says أفلا تعقلون. You have to think for yourself, because you will only believe truly if you think. If you don't think, you will not be able to believe truly, right? And then there is an explanation. These are the questions, because this, up till now, this was the answer for the question which was posed by the moderator, mashallah, Sheikh Azhar. But these are 3 questions, and how to plug these holes, each one needs detailed explanation. And the explanation is, when the explanation is done, we understand that I was completely misinformed about my deen, about my Quran, and about the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding.